Well, good Thursday morning, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro with another First Alert update as we are tracking what will be a warm, windy, and wet day today. It'll actually feel almost more like a late March day today. And then once we go into tonight, those temperatures are going to plummet, and that's where we are expecting a flash freeze for tomorrow morning. That is why we do have a First Alert weather day in place for tomorrow morning as well. We do expect that morning drive to be a bit icy. I'll go ahead and start off talking about what we have going on right now, though. You can definitely tell it's warming up out there a decent bit. So definitely warmer than what we've been used to over the last couple of weeks. We do have our current temperatures above freezing everywhere. Even up north, it's already 36 in Oscoda and West Branch. Bay City is sitting at 42 degrees right now. And then we even have 42 in Flint. We have 43 in Owasso, Lapeer, and Mount Pleasant, even in Midland and Caro. So those are some of the warmest temperatures that we are currently seeing as of right now. But certainly warming up quite a bit for today, and we'll just continue to warm up from here for the remainder of the daytime. We should see those highs into the mid to upper 40s later this afternoon, but this is really being helped by that south wind gusting to about 30 miles per hour. We actually do have a wind pretty decently out there right now too. This wind started to pick up earlier this morning. There's a live look at I-75 in Birch Run. Now there in Birch Run, that's right at exit 136, we do have a decent wind. We've seen the camera shaking around at times, so certainly just showing how these conditions have been developing throughout the morning here so far. But as we go throughout the rest of the daytime, that wind will pretty much hold directly from the south. And once we go into tonight, we will start to see that wind direction changing for us a bit more. And we could see that wind actually briefly slow down early tonight, right after our cold front passes. But then going into tomorrow, we'll have a northwest wind developing. Some gusts tomorrow could even reach up to about 40 miles per hour. So it certainly is going to be pretty windy here as we close out this work week. And this is also just showing how strong the storm system is that's going to be moving right here through the Great Lakes. I'll take you over to the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. You can see here on the Pinpoint Doppler we have plenty of rain falling, especially for some of our northern areas. I'll actually go ahead and zoom this in just a little bit more. Actually, I'll take you to the hour by hour, then right back over to the radar. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit closer here. So you can see some places like Gladwin, Beaverton, Clare, Harrison, West Branch. This is just flat out rainfall that we have right now. No snow mixing in, no ice mixing in either. This is all because of this warmer air that's being moved right into the lower peninsula. As we move south a little bit farther, we also have some light rain currently falling around Saginaw. Now, Birch Run, like we were seeing there in the camera, I'll actually take you right back to the camera because we can see that wind picking up a bit more too. See how that camera is shaking around? But notice there in Birch Run, no rain currently falling, but there is going to be more rain on the way as indicated here on the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. So some of those showers near Owasso are heading at least in the vicinity of Birch Run. And while Flint and Lapeer and a few other spots like Brown City or North Branch or Mayville are also kind of dodging this rainfall currently, we do expect that this rain will continue to fill in here throughout the remainder of the daytime. But still a bit scattered even after lunchtime today. But as we fast forward the hour by hour up until about 4 or 5 o'clock, notice that this rain really starts to pick up in earnest across our area even more. And we'll hold on to some of the steadiest rainfall between approximately 5 this evening and 9 this evening. This right here on your screen, you can actually tell sort of the linear shape that we have of the rain. That's also indicating where that cold front is starting to move in. So the cold front should be through here, or starting to move through here between about 8 and 9 o'clock. So after the cold front, of course, that's where those temperatures are really going to plummet as we go later on throughout the night and as we go into our Friday morning. I'll show you this here too. So after about midnight too, even though we might have a little bit of rain lingering, pretty much anything left starts to change back over to snow showers. And then we have a lake effect pattern picking up for Friday. And an important note for tomorrow morning, in addition to that flash freeze potential, we also do have some snow squalls here that could be moving through mid-Michigan. It's certainly a possibility for us, especially with the wind that'll be starting to pick back up again tomorrow morning. Again, those gusts up to about 35 to 40 miles per hour. And then eventually by the afternoon tomorrow, we are going to start to see the snow showers leaving our area. Rainfall with today, though, just between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch. For this time of year, this is actually a decent amount of rainfall, and actually even in the spring you could consider this a pretty healthy rain, but especially for this time of year, because usually in the winter months we're working with much less moisture in our atmosphere compared to what we would normally see, say, during the summertime. So for this time of year, when we have a much more limited amount of moisture to work off of, any rainfall like this that's in the range of 1/4 to 1/2 or even more certainly is pretty impressive for this time of year. But I'll take you back over here to the rainfall totals again. Some of the slightly higher totals are a little bit more likely to be towards central Michigan, some places like Mount Pleasant or Rosebush or Clare, also up towards the Gladwin and possibly West Branch and Rose City areas as well. So these are some of the spots where we do expect to see some of the higher totals just from the rainfall. And again, these numbers here on your screen, this is solely from the rain. This does not include any of the liquid equivalent of snow that will be falling tomorrow morning. And in regard to the snow showers for tomorrow as well, again, some squalls. So squalls mean that we have some of those heavier bursts of snow. Those are usually a little bit more limited in coverage, but I would not be surprised if some of those squalls were able to bring almost an inch of fresh snowfall. But of course, with tomorrow morning and the flash freeze, it's the ice that's a far bigger concern than any sort of snow that would be sticking to the ground. But the snow squalls do add just another component to all of this too, because roads are already going to be slick and icy, so then factor in the snow. That means those visibilities are just going to drop even more, and that means more rapidly changing roadway conditions as well. So we do just want to make you aware of that for your Friday morning. We'll go ahead and take a quick break here real quick, and when we come back from the break, we'll talk a little bit more about that First Alert weather day, and we'll talk some details about how we expect road conditions to shape up for the entirety of your Friday as well. So we'll see you right after the break. Alrighty, welcome back. So let's take you right back into this forecast where we are tracking that First Alert weather day, most importantly for tomorrow morning. So we have declared that First Alert weather day because we do expect a flash freeze tomorrow morning. We have all the rainfall moving through today, and then we have any snow melt from today as well. We've actually been talking here in the Weather Center. Quite honestly, we do expect most of that snowpack to be gone by the end of today. That's, of course, excluding some of the large snow piles that you might be seeing, say, in the supermarket parking lot or something like that. But most of the snowpack that you have in your yard likely will be completely gone or very close to gone by the end of the day. So you should have some grass starting to come back through. But with that snowpack melting away, as well as the rainfall moving through and the fact that the ground underneath is still frozen as of right now, that rain is going to have a little bit of a tougher time absorbing into the ground, so you're going to have some of that snow melt actually running off onto roadways and sidewalks. We even saw that yesterday too with those above freezing temperatures. So some of that snow was melting and then the water was just going right across the road. So we have all this dampness on our roadways here and our sidewalks. We go into tonight where temperatures will be plummeting very quickly below freezing. That's where we see all of these conditions icing up. Now with temperatures that'll stay in the 20s tomorrow, that does mean that road salt will still be effective. However, we are still expecting, as a result of this though, at least the morning commute, especially earlier in the morning, that is expected to be icy and take longer than normal. Just use this temperature trend as more of a general guideline here, but the expectation is that once the cold front passes through, temperatures will pretty much be falling at about 2 to 3 degrees per hour. So that is a pretty quick drop in temps, could even be faster for some areas too. In spots like Mount Pleasant or Alma or Clare, pretty much anywhere closer to US 127, you'll hit the freezing mark first before everybody else. So that also means that there you have a little bit less time compared to other areas for those road treatments to be put down. So that does mean you should start to ice up sooner than everybody else as well. But for that morning drive tomorrow, we do expect the most significant impacts, especially after about 4 or 5 a.m., pretty much going right into the heart of the commute. So if you drive at around 6 or 7 in the morning or even 8 in the morning, that's where you're most likely to see some of these iciest conditions for tomorrow. And again, just that reminder of the snow squalls as well. Not every snow shower that moves through will be a squall, but a couple of them could be. And with those snow squalls, that just means rapidly changing roadway conditions, rapidly changing visibilities. So you're driving up or down I-75 and then you encounter a snow squall. It's already icy because of the flash freeze, and then you now have a quick drop in visibility and even more snow starting to stick on top of that ice. So certainly is going to be slick at times for tomorrow morning. So we do expect that commute to be pretty significantly impacted. Now by the afternoon, because there will be time, of course, throughout the rest of the morning that road crews will start to get some salt down. That's where we do expect drive times to start to improve towards lunchtime and during the afternoon. Now we'll of course be keeping an eye on these conditions entirely throughout the morning up to the minute, but our expectation right now is that we'll likely be able to pull back our first alert weather day for the afternoon, because by then most of those road conditions should have improved enough. But of course, we will be taking that pretty much as it comes here. So by noon tomorrow, if we still happen to have a lot of ice out there and a lot of slow travel, we'll of course keep that first alert weather day going. But we're really focused on the morning, especially for tomorrow. Even for tonight, I will say early tonight, especially before midnight, if you have any traveling to do, we do expect that, or rather those driving conditions to be okay. Even though the roads will be pretty wet by then, temperatures will still be above freezing. So at least early on tonight, we aren't expecting any of these roadway impacts from the flash freeze. But of course, as temps continue to drop through the rest of the night, that's where we start to see more of those icy conditions building up. So this is really what we've been tracking for most of the week, and this is what we just want to make you most aware of here in the forecast for tomorrow morning. So if you do still have to work tomorrow too, just something to keep in mind that that commute is going to take much longer than it normally would. Now take a look at this here in the First Alert 7-day forecast. I know we've been talking quite a bit about some fairly active and important weather for tomorrow morning. Once we get past tomorrow morning, the forecast is actually very quiet. We are tracking kind of a back and forth with temperatures between the 20s and the 30s nearly every day. But after just a couple of isolated snow showers on Saturday, the winter solstice on Sunday should be dry, just mostly cloudy, and then generally holding on to clouds going into next week. But we aren't really seeing this pattern being too active as we go into next week, at least as everything stands right now. So we pretty much just have to get through any of those icy conditions tomorrow morning. And after that, this forecast should be a little bit more laid back for the remainder of this extended forecast. So Wednesday, Christmas Eve. Right now, if you do have any travel, say on Christmas Eve, it looks like conditions are going to be all right here across mid-Michigan. Before tomorrow morning, again, just that key takeaway, it is expected to take longer for your morning drive because of the flash freeze, the rain falling today, and the snow melt too. It really just won't have too much of an opportunity to dry up before those temps plummet as we go into tonight. And those temperatures by tomorrow morning at their coldest, they should bottom out at about 20 degrees. So you'll also want to bundle up tomorrow morning, even though this morning that certainly hasn't been as much of the case. But coming up later on at 2 this afternoon, meteorologist Stone Schaefer will be right here again on all these same channels for another live stream with another look at those conditions and another word on that First Alert weather day as well. But in the meantime, we hope that you have a great remainder of your Thursday morning and stay dry.